What's up, everybody? This is Billy Ward here at the Action Network, here to talk about some early UFC 303 picks. This was supposed to be Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. Obviously, not the card we're getting. A lot of people were excited to see Conor McGregor. I think the main event we do have is probably a better, more interesting fight for the hardcore fight fans. We got a title on the line, some tough fighters. So let's dive into the main event to start. Jiri Prochazka is rematching Alex Pereira, another shot at the 205 belt. This was a fight not at all placed on this card. They were just kind of calling around, trying to get some gold on the poster. This is who they came up with. Huge credit to Alex Pereira. A lot of champions were not interested in stepping in on 2 or 3 weeks' notice to defend their belt, especially against a dangerous opponent like Prohaska. With that said, I like the plus money on Yuri P here at plus 145. From the sounds of it, when Pereira got the call, he was recovering from some broken toes, the injury that kept McGregor out of the fight. Also on a seminar tour of Australia, kind of taking it easy, not expecting to fight anytime soon. Jiri Prochazka, being Jiri Prochazka, was in a hut in the Czechoslovakian mountains, doing darkness retreats, fighting bears with swords, all that usual Jiri Prochazka stuff. I like his preparation here a little bit more. Like I said before, this is a rematch. Thought it was a little bit of an early stop in the rematch. Yuri got clipped a little bit, shot for a takedown, was getting hit on the legs. In retrospect, it looked more like a slip than a knockout. Think that fight could have continued a little bit. Would have loved to see what Yuri Prochazka did on the ground. And he's just such a wild, unorthodox striker that he can kind of catch anyone. So best I'm seeing now is plus 145. Kind of held mostly there since this fight was announced. Jumping on it now, though, don't want this one to move against me. Another fight that has changed many, many times is, well, it's not the co-main event anymore. This was originally the co-main event. Now we have a main card fight between Anthony Smith and Roman Dolidze. This fight was originally Jamal Hill booked to take on Khalil Roundtree. Hill was coming off his knockout loss at UFC 300. Roundtree's been on a little bit of a tear. Roundtree self-reported that he accidentally ingested some banned substances. He's getting a short suspension. Then it became Jamal Hill versus Carlos Olberg. Hill had to pull out with a knee injury. Anthony Smith steps in for Jamal Hill to fight Carlos Olberg. Now Olberg's out and it's Roman Dolidze instead. Roman Dolidze is typically a middleweight, stepping up on short notice to fight at 205 here. That's a big reason I'm on Anthony Smith at plus 120 or so. The other reason, Smith has struggled with his durability a little bit, starting to get a little bit chinny, taking a lot of tough shots. That's scary against a guy like Carlos Olberg. Roman Dolidze, more of a grappler, not big power even at middleweight. Obviously at 205, that power is a little bit diminished. And it's hard to pick against Anthony Smith in a grappling match. He's a really high-level MMA grappler, should be able to prevent the takedowns if he wants, get takedowns of his own if he needs them, and at the very least hold his own, if not win the grappling exchanges against Dolidze. Last pick I made early in the week, prelim fight between Gene Silva, representing the Fighting Nerds, and Charles Jourdain. Most of the justification behind this one is Gene Silva opened around plus 160 at early books, all the way down to plus 105. I don't see that momentum changing. I really like the Fighting Nerds team. They've been on a tear, the Brazilians in general, the last few events. Gene Silva's got big power, should be able to grapple a little bit. Charles Jourdain, probably the better technical striker, but a lot of volume, not a lot of pop, not a lot of damage being done. We know how judges reward that. Plus, that gives all the finishing upside to Gene Silva. So that is my biggest priority, is jumping on Gene Silva now at plus money. I expect he'll close as a slight favorite, so that's definitely one we want to get on early. And for more picks, be sure to check back in on Friday when I go through my full betting card with Sean Zerillo on the UFC Betting Preview podcast. We will also have full breakdowns for every fight on this card at actionnetwork.com, so check those out.